Me, Joe, do one thing, I get the other thing.
This is what Chuck Noll held him accountable, fellas. There was accountability. Hey, what's going on, everybody? The OSP has just spun off our newest and probably going to be one of our top shows. It's called Terrible Talk, and we're talking all Pittsburgh Steelers because, we always go down the rabbit hole talking Pittsburgh Steelers. We can't help ourselves. We're all Steeler diehards through and through. We're old-ass men in our 50s. We love our Steelers. We were around when they were winning Super Bowls. Sheen's going to bust out the towel. Ain't you waving that son of a gun?
Nah.
Yeah, so we're just going to give it to you straight, though. There's going to be no holds barred, no punches pulled. We are going to give it to you like it is. There's no question about it. I'm going to look at things myself from, like, the GM eyes. Waddy's going to look at it from, like, a coach's eyes. Sheen's going to question every damn thing that goes on and we talk about. And Chops, he's Joe the Fan. Remember Joe the Fan on the John Thompson show, guys? Yeah.
I'm just coming in like Joey Pots and Pans. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
Just,
Joey Pots and Pans.
Yeah, man.
So tonight, we're only going to hit you with like 3 questions. We're going to be about 30 to 40 minutes at the most every other week. That's our game plan, and we're pretty excited, pretty fired up. We've been talking about this for probably, 3 weeks now, getting this off the ground. So tonight, fellas, we're almost 3 freaking weeks past the 2024 season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Once again, they dropped a playoff game 8 straight times now. Did you guys listen to Rooney II's comments? Like, where was he headed? What was he thinking? Because I'll tell you what, as a GM, if he's my boss, I'm scratching my head.
Do you have the comment on foul?
What he said out loud?
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing.
Part?
Well, just give me a rundown because there's so many of them. I mean, he's been saying a lot lately. Which one are we talking?
Well, I mean, I guess he kind of started off. He said, at the beginning when the guy asked him the one question, he said, wasn't good enough. He did say that, but then I guess he kind of went into after that. He then said coaches pretty much are going to remain in place, and then he kind of went into Arthur. He's looking forward to Arthur Smith in his second season, and then he kind of went into playing in Ireland. Then he kind of went into the draft. So I'm not quite sure, where you guys want to go, where you want to pick up with it on, but you can pick any of those and you can probably, hit.
He's stuck on Tomlin. He's afraid to death to do something with Mike Tomlin. Watson, I know you are a huge Tomlin supporter, and I respect the shit out of you, and I respect the shit out of him. But Mike Tomlin is stuck. He's stuck. And somebody needs to sit him down and tell him to get unstuck. Okay, now I know what you're going to tell me. He needs to get some money from Rooney to be able to get some coaches that he can pay that are going to be productive. But he's still stuck. If I'm bringing in Art Smith the second, or whatever the hell his name is, Artie Smith, I'm going to let Artie Smith run the offense. I'm not going to dig my nose into it. And if Artie Smith fails, Artie Smith's accountable.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
If Terrell Austin fails with the defense, which he does on a regular damn basis, he's accountable. That's not what's happening there, though. I think the only place he doesn't stick his 2 cents in is on special teams. Honestly, like it almost appears that way because they always try and become creative. Now, they did have like the 28th best special team return in the league for kickoffs. They were only one of 8 teams that didn't have I think it was like 20-some yard returns on average because the average was way up this year because of the new rules. Why though? But I mean, to me, that's where it all begins. Again, I don't dislike him as a person. I agree with you. I think he has great rapport with those men. I do. I don't know if they want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers the way they need to play. I think they're playing the way they're being coached to play. And I'll leave it at that. It's up to you guys now.
Hit it, Watson.
No, I was just gonna say, because you bring up the point of, coaches, and we have been on teams where it was just when we first started. How many coaches do we have coaching that JV team with 72?
Just me and you, buddy. Just me and you.
Exactly. And did we not struggle?
We did.
We struggled. We did, because you just didn't have enough hands. And I swear,
all them damn squirrels over there on the sidelines, buddy.
Man.
Remember all them squirrels?
Tough. Yes, it was tough. And I think he needs, whether he wants it or not, I have no idea. But he does need more coaches. And I went in and I looked at some of the teams that have, their coaching and how many they have on staff. And I looked at, like, the Patriots have like 30 coaches. The Rams have 30. Kansas City has like 30. San Fran has like 30. And then we have like 20.
18.
Like, yeah.
18.
Like,
so they have 18 coaches.
That's not enough. I know some, shoot, you go down to Texas and they probably have 18 on staff, Yeah. So, and if you have more coaches, then I think you can now come out of the offensive side of the ball, get your nose out of it, because you have enough over there to help the man. He ain't got enough, so now you feel you got to go over and help him. I just think he needs to. They need more coaches. Let's start there as a point to, if we want change, let's start there. Give them more then. If we're not going to fire anybody, give them more. How about that?
I agree with you, and I think that Rooney skates around addressing it. He didn't mention it, did he? He didn't mention it. All he said was mostly everybody's safe on that team. You know who's not going to be safe? What's up, Daniel? The only guys that are not going to be safe are the guys whose contracts are running out this year. That's the only guys. Joe the fam, I know you're brewing there.
Well, here's my thing. So again, it goes back. I asked you, number one, what would more coaches do? Because like I said, you guys look at it more that way than I do. So if the Patriots have 30 coaches, right? What are their 30 coaches where we're lacking 10, 12 that are doing? Who's taking double duty? Number one. Number two, my thing would be this. Again, I ask, does Tomlin have any power? And I say that because of this. If you do have power and you're the head coach and I have power, and you ask the ownership to give me more coaches and they tell you no year after year after year, you don't have power. If you do have the power and they say you're open to get as many coaches as you want and you still come in significantly less than everybody else, does that make you negligent? And I say negligent on the aspect of, you need more coaches, you have the leeway, they're telling you to do it, and you don't do it. So it's either Tomlin has power and he doesn't know what he's doing, or he doesn't have power and they're hamstringing. So let's go with the aspect of they don't give him the power and they're hamstringing him. Tomlin is as hot as anybody to where he could leave the Steelers at 4:30, and before he got to his car, his agent would call him with 5-7 other job offers. And that's only before he got to the parking lot. So why would you continue to stay with the team where you have no power? But if he does have the power, why is he continuing to not hire coaches when all the other organizations do, and you realize you're suffering from that?
All right, well, I'm going to go back with what Mark said. If you're paying people to do stuff, let them do it. I don't understand why Austin's there being paid, but he ain't doing nothing. And I'm looking at the Texans. They have 24 coaches, 12 offense, 10 defense, 2 special teams. They have 3 guys who coach on the offensive line. 3.
Yes.
That's probably a low amount, because I could easily see 4 guys. I could see a head offensive line coach. I could see a centers coach. I could see guards coach. I could see tackles coach and tight ends coach. Okay. I could easily see that.
Fellas, you remember what, 3-4 seasons ago, the McNairs that organization was terrible. The father was there, then he passed away or gave it to his son. His son was terrible. I remember they were showing articles where quarterbacks were going in to talk to him, and he was literally, the owner, the son, was playing PlayStation while they're trying to talk to him. Yet that terrible organization knew we need 24 to 30, whatever it is, and the Steelers still don't. So that's what I'm asking. Why are you only hiring 18 when you see other coach, you need more? Who's that on?
Ravens have 3 special teams coaches.
3 what?
Special teams coaches.
Yeah. And I don't know if you realize this, but they just hired they just hired Chuck Pagano, secondary special assistant. He's a special assistant in their secondary. Yeah. What the heck is that, guys? Yeah. What is that? Is he just an extra set of eyes who's going to give some input? You know, like who cares?
That's what he is.
They also have Dean Pease, who is a senior advisor, whatever that means.
Yeah, well, senior.
But they don't count him as a coach, but he's also there. So,
you know,
but if you think about this, you go back, and it's always been like that. The Steelers have always had the lowest amount of coaches. So now that go to answer your question there, Chops. I think it's more of a ownership thing than I think it is a coach's thing. I think that is the way they've done it since Chuck Noll and all the way through.
Okay, so where do you think the disconnect is? I'm sorry, Waddy. Where do you think the disconnect is with money, though? Because they're paying Tomlin the 3rd most amount of money for a head coach in the NFL. It's $16 million. But yet, Terrell Austin and Pat Myers, who are guilty as hell of making this team horrible, together make $3 million. Do you think do you think he looks at Mike Tomlin and says, you hire whoever you want, but here's your salary cap for your coaches? Do you think, could that be it? Is there a salary cap that he gives them?
I have no idea.
Is that why they lost Brian Flores? Is that the problem?
They couldn't. Yeah, I think they could. They weren't going to be able to pay that man because they knew he was expensive. I was surprised they kind of got him the first time.
Or did Flores know I need to take this because the NFL is looking at me poorly the way I turned in the Dolphins, and he took that. But now Flores realizes I don't get to put my fingerprint on this defense. Why would I stay here where I don't get to be the man? Where Austin, whether it was Canada offense, whatever, Butler, these other guys knew if the Steelers don't want me, nobody else is going to take me. So they stuck around where they were offensive, defensive coordinator, where they didn't call the shots. Where Flores was like, bruh, I don't need to be here. If you're not going to let me do me, I can bounce and get hired elsewhere.
I mean, they had the perfect situation with him. If they would have signed him to a 3-year deal and let him play it out, they could have had him move right into Tomlin's spot as Mike phased himself out. Because, Waddy, I think you even said it. When this contract's up, I could see him leaving. Mm-hmm. He's still a young guy. He's in his mid-50s now. He's still a young guy. His kids are all grown, out of the house. His wife's making clothes now, so she got a little something coming in on top of all those millions. But he's going to be great if he decides to go into the booth and give insight. You know, he's a wordsmith, so to speak. He can make that word salad like nobody else. But
you're right. But hold on. But you're right. But here's the thing: he uses the great sayings there. But if he tried to announce games, your knowledge would be coming off of the schemes that you've ran and seen. If you're not running great schemes, why do I believe you can articulate on the games that other people are running? Number one, and again, I'm just fan Joey Jackoff here. I'm just getting questions. Number two, Waddy made a great point. They've always done it that way, fellas. When I grew up, Mark knows the neighborhood. I grew up in a neighborhood. If I was cutting up and acting up, it was no thing for our neighbors to yell at us, the neighborhood kids. You can't do that nowadays. The point I'm getting at is things change. The Steelers cannot continue to do the things the way they did in the 70s and 80s, but they are. Fellas, at what point? I don't know, man.
Because I'm looking at this Commanders thing. It says they have an assistant head coach who's exclusively the passing game coordinator, plus a run game coordinator who coaches the running backs. Defense has an exclusive passing game coordinator, Jason Simmons, who's played for the Steelers. They have a senior defensive assistant, a pass rush specialist. They have a team character coach. I mean,
whatever that is, yeah.
But
you see the
making up titles for their boys.
Yes, you have all those eyes to help you, and
all those ideas.
Yeah, because then you can spin it off of each other, and then if something doesn't look right, or if you're missing this, we should try this block, blocking it this way. Oh no, we should try it this way. You have all that information. When you only have one guy, well, shoot, that answers the answer, and then that's what you go with. And that's the piece that's not working right now. You need more people, need more brains in the operation, you know?
You need fresh ideas too, though, Waddy. Along with that,
yes.
Mike's got to be able to go out of the box.
Give you that.
Yeah.
Mike's got to be able to go out of the box, get some veterans with fresh ideas that have coached in the league, not go to Kennesaw State and hire their DB's coach or McNair State or wherever the hell he goes and gets, his buddy's younger son who's coaching in college now. He gives him a job. Like, it's crazy. Grady Jackson, like, and for him to be up as a defensive coordinator after he coached that Steelers secondary, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
And I get this. Go ahead, Waddy.
I think that's just a continuing cycle, man. Guys, just give guys jobs, man.
I know you keep saying that.
I mean, black guy, it don't no color either. You're my friend. Here's a job.
Yeah, you're right, Dream, and that works. Sticking it in and keeping it in the family. If we're the local hardware store of a town that has one stoplight and 4,000 people in it, but we're in a business that makes billions of dollars. Real talk, seriously.
Yeah,
so,
you know what I mean?
So, and at some point, like, I didn't realize how few coaches the Steelers had. But and again, it just bugs me to death. You guys are. I don't have any children. You guys are parents. So when you go on vacation, you're responsible financially for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But if you're on vacation for 4 days, but you only brought enough money for 3, who's that? You know what I'm saying? Who's that on? You know what I'm saying? Who's that on? And is that, I just don't get it. If he has the power, why is he not getting those cats? And Tomlin is one of the few coaches that literally he's earned it. If he wanted to get one of the old towers like the D1 coaches used to back in the day and yell from the tower with the bullhorn, he could literally have that much cash. He has that much cachet, that he doesn't have to be hands-on. If I say do it, you do it. But I just don't. I mean,
at the end of the day, he has that kind of respect. 18 years coaching in the league. I know we laugh about how he's never had a losing season, but it really is an accomplishment, whether you want to believe it or not. But we don't coach for a losing season. I would gladly trade 3 above 500 seasons for a shot at the AFC Championship or a Super Bowl shot. Yeah. Gladly. Just having a winning season and going 9-8 does not appease me as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. It shouldn't appease the ownership.
Well, it goes back to good is no longer good when better is expected. Good is no longer good when better is expected. You know what I mean? And
I just noticed this list I'm looking at of coaches are all the teams that were in the playoffs. Rams, Lions, this is all the playoff teams. They all have more coaches than the Steelers have.
Every one of them.
Yes.
Almost every team.
At least about 5 coaches. At least.
I think Kevin hit the nail on the head too. A lot of Division I schools have more coaches than the Steelers have.
Okay, so
this goes back to Rooney, and Rooney's satisfied. He's very satisfied. If you heard his mundane melodrama delivery of his lousy speech, this is a guy who's not really interested in winning a Super Bowl, no matter what he tells you. He's very satisfied with filling the stadium for the 10 games, the 2 exhibition, the other 8 games, and maybe making a playoff game, and by chance getting lucky, being able to play a home playoff game. He doesn't care. And you know what? I've said this to you guys 100 times. I sat and talked with Ike Taylor 3 years ago on the show, and Ike Taylor off camera told me that you're never going to get out of AR2 what you got out of his dad, and what you got out of the chief. You're never going to get it. Our only thing is when Dan comes in, young Dan comes in, he has that mentality of his grandfather. He has the mentality of his great-grandfather. He's going to change the dynamic. He's going to be the guy that goes back into the locker room, shakes hands, lets the guys know he appreciates them, and he will pay them for being good citizens, hard worker, maybe a little melodrama, maybe a little drama like with GP. But generally speaking, I said it. Now, here's the other thing about it. I was listening to Josh Yowie the other day. I think it was Josh Yowie. He was talking on 93.7 The Fan, and he said that Dan Rooney stepped away when he was 75 years old, and the Chiefs stepped away when he was 75 years old. Right now, AR2 is 72 years old, maybe turning 73. if he's planning on stepping away at 75 years old, when the young Rooney comes in there, when Dan Jr. comes in there, or whatever they call him, the next Dan comes in there, he's going to have a hell of a hole to dig himself out of. One hell of a hole, because this team is going to be so buried. That bothers me. That bothers me when he says he's satisfied with what he sees on the field. He believes in the team. His goal is to win a Super Bowl. He does that. It's like Bob Nutting every year. He tells you his idea is to win a World Series, but yet what he says and what he does are two different things.
And he sounds crazy.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be in a hole. I don't think that. I think they do have talent on the team.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be in a
far
hole.
away. I really don't think they're far away.
I don't. I just think there's some
when you going to get a quarterback? How you going to get a quarterback? Waddy, how you going to Sheen? How you going to get a quarterback
this year?
Where? The only way you're going to get one.
We're
not going to get one if we win. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get one. You got to be in the top of the draft to get that.
This is not, fellas. This is not the year to get a quarterback. Cam Ward's not such. Cam Ward is a little bit better than Anthony Richardson. He could throw the ball. He's a good leader. He's a little bit better than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel, he might be able to throw a football through a brick wall. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback. I don't see one guy that you would take in the first 2 rounds.
No,
I
didn't say first 2. No, if we could get Dart in the 4th or 5th, I'm good with that.
We need to cut loose Mike Sullivan and bring in a young guy who really can coach these guys. Mike Sullivan has been around the NFL for 1,000 years, and I thought he was going to be the answer as the quarterback's coach, but he's not. And you see it right in front of you. Who do you sign? Let's go to this now, guys. Because this is we dealt with the first 2 questions basically. Rooney's got his head up his ass, and the coaching changes are abysmal. This is the 3rd question for today's show. Referring back to his comments, who are we going to sign? We sign Russ? Do we sign Justin? Do we sign neither? Do we sign both? Okay, this has to be the top priority. Outside of coaching, you have now put yourself in a situation where you've got to make a decision, because Ben's been retired for how many years? We've already tried one experiment and got rid of all 3 quarterbacks. We brought in a whole another set this year. Guess what? We had the same record, 10-7.
And I'll say this. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you put Brady, if you guys want to say Brady, whomever you say, think the greatest quarterback you have. When and I said it before, when the receivers never get open, they never get separation, your playbook is as vanilla as a preseason playbook. It doesn't matter. Do you remember when the when the Buccaneers beat Tampa Bay, when Brady beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Even though Mahomes was the best player on that field, he looked terrible with no O-line. The quarterback doesn't matter when he has nobody to throw to. Yes.
He ran like this.
When the quarterback has nobody to throw to, the offense is so vanilla. Fellas, the play that Pirine got the first down on Sunday, do you realize that wasn't but a 4 or 5 yard pass? The Steelers don't run anything creative like that, having guys
nothing over the middle either, do they?
No. So
if you go look at the breakdown, well, one of the things, fellas, I have all 22, and for people who are watching or are gonna watch, don't know what all 22 is. I get to see the play from the end zone look and from a top look, and I get to see what all 22 guys do. I get to stop it, rewind it. Well, I'm a former football coach myself. Coach K. Waddle, he and I coached together forever. We look at different things, and when I look at Steeler film, they never throw over the middle. They wait for, this is the sick part, they wait for the tight end to clear the middle and get to the side past the hashes before they'll hit him with the ball. They are so afraid. They live in their fears so much, which Tomlin says he doesn't, but they live in their fears so much down the middle. Watch Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Watch Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. They're going to throw the ball down the middle where the guys are open, because everything has got to clear out, right? You got to do your drop. The patterns are not, they're not aligned to open stuff up. There was one pattern, I want to say it was in the Skins game. and it was the Skins that the Commanders that completed this pass. And I used to run a play very similar to it, where they ran a 3-tier route, and they put 2 guys under pressure, and they watched the lower guy to see what he did. They didn't really want to go over top necessarily, but they watched the lower guy. The lower guy made his choice. I'm going to take the middle guy who's 17, 20 yards downfield, or am I going to take the underneath guy who's about 10 yards downfield? And once they watched the lower guy's hips and saw where he decided to cover at, they went to the other guy and completed the ball. We don't have anything like that in terms of pass patterns in Pittsburgh. Nothing, not even close.
They talk about Andy Reid got stale in Philly and then went to KC. Still had quite a few years before he won some playoffs. However, again, I don't know if it was him or his old coordinators, but he is now running plays, and he has been for years running plays in Kansas City, changing in the way the offense goes and the NFL goes, that he wasn't running in Philly. You know, like tight end cutting across and like a little pitch to him behind, whatever have you, different things. If Tomlin is the one in power and he picks and has his thumb on the offense, he picks and has his thumb on the defense, people born around don't die square. Why do we believe that he would go? He's been doing this for 18 years. Why do we believe that if he moved from Main Street to 2nd Street or from Pittsburgh to another organization, his mindset is his mindset? True. That, you know, so how do we know what makes him, you know, so go ahead, Sheen. I don't get it.
The question was who you taking, Fields or Wilson. And my thing is, do you want to pay the 40 for Wilson or the 7-8 for Fields?
Yeah.
It'll be about 10.
About 10 or 11.
Okay.
I'd rather pay 10 or 11 for Fields.
Do you guys think Fields' value went up? Do you think Fields' value went up?
I don't.
No, I don't think it went up, but I mean, he's going to make more than he made this, you know.
If he went somewhere, if Fields went somewhere else, he'd be a backup because almost everybody else is pretty well set. He's not going to the Giants. The Giants need a quarterback. Okay. He's not going there. The couple of teams that need a quarterback are not going to take Justin Fields because he's not really a commodity to come in there and change it. But in Pittsburgh, he could be because he's already played 1 year there under Arthur Smith's system. I would hope that they would bring in a quarterback's coach and even a throwing coach and a receivers coach that could help the kid make quick reads and deliver the ball. I don't care if you give him 2 reads like Lamar used to do and then take off. You got to figure out something. The kid is a talent. Yeah. He's a talent. I watch highlights of Cordell Stewart. This kid is an upgrade of Cordell Stewart. And Cordell Stewart, we didn't appreciate back in the day. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't appreciate him back in the day. No. But today I appreciate the quarterback he was because he fits what's going on.
I think talent-wise, coming into the league, I believe Fields was a better – it's hard because he did have a great year at Oklahoma, but I thought he was a better passer before he went to Oklahoma than Jalen Hurts. Hurts, I didn't think he was that great of a passer. He could run, but he wasn't a great passer. Fields passed at Ohio State, so coming out, I thought he would be well. I don't think Fields will do well under Arthur Smith's offense. I'd love to see Fields go to an offense that can get creative. Having a nice back helps, but even before Barkley, they went to the Super Bowl and went to the playoffs. I would like to see them with a coordinator that they don't have to throw bombs. They don't have to have the Kelly gun where it's 5 wide. However, you add the RPOs, you move the pocket, you get crossing routes, and I think Fields would be just fine, but you're not going to get that in Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith.
Waddy, do you think – let me ask Waddy and Sheen this question then. Waddy and Sheen, do you think that the Steelers have RPOs in their system?
No.
Yeah, you don't? Yes.
I don't. I don't. They don't do it with Russell. Not with Russell Wilson. There's not.
I don't think it is
with Russell.
I don't think it is with Fields.
In Atlanta, didn't he have Mariota, or he had somebody who could run, and they did.
That was Tannehill his one good year, and Tannehill passed for more.
That was in Tennessee.
Yeah, under Arthur Smith.
I just don't know.
In Atlanta, he had Desmond Ridder or somebody.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter's gone, and so is he. He was. They wanted him. They wanted Smith gone quick, fast, in a hurry.
You guys want to know something? Go ahead.
I will say though. If we have to pick one of the 2 quarterbacks, because we do have to keep one of them. I'm going with Fields because of the upside. Number 1, number 2. When things break down, he got those legs, and dude can run.
That's what I like. That's what I like. I mean,
and that will save you on some plays that aren't open. that you don't feel comfortable with, that will save you.
And listen,
they got to look at like Lamar. They have to treat it like Lamar. That's how they have to kind of do it.
And Hurt, he can pass. I'm not saying he can't, but he ain't. He's doing most of everything with his legs, and he's throwing for like 100 yards or 150 a game. So
he doesn't need to
lighten it up.
Hold on, you're right. Hurts isn't the greatest QB. Number one, let's even take Barkley out because they had a great offense last year and the year before when they went to Super Bowl. Their line is good, really good. Yeah, and they've got a great playbook, fellas. They really do. Yeah. And to me, as much as I like Russ, I also say keep Fields. But for the economic reasons, number one, he'll be cheaper. But it kills me because of both. Whoever they keep, they're not going to shine. Fields is not going to shine under Arthur Smith, and Russ will never shine under that offense that doesn't let him open up offensive playbook that isn't pass friendly and no ingenuity, no imagination. So it thinks 2 years we're going to be right back in the same spot.
Listen, unless Mike takes his hands out of the mixing pot and lets Arthur Smith be a little more creative, that's all you can hope for. That's all you can hope for because he's got tools. I just listened today to some guys talk about T. Higgins. T. Higgins is the Steelers' number one free agent target. He is number one on their list. They are willing to pay him $30 million a year. That's their goal. Okay. T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
They look at him. Listen, he's not going to be in Cincinnati though, Chops.
No.
Because they got to pay Jamar $50 million a year.
But I'm telling you what, if you pay a guy $30 million to come to Pittsburgh, he's going to be a problem because he's not going to get his passes, he's not going to get numbers, and he's going to be another Pickens. I'm telling you, all the number ones end up being that way in Pittsburgh because they don't get to shine. And I need you guys real quick to get personal on this real quick. Go ahead, Waddy. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted the real thing with the number ones. Now remember, AB was the number one. He got his shine. He made it. And I think Higgins is different than Pickens because I think he can run more than one route. Right now, I can't see Pickens only does one route.
The Steelers don't call him. The Steelers don't call him.
Let me ask you this, Waddy. And I don't know. We'll get the free agents coming up here in the next couple of shows, but if you knew you were going to sign T. Higgins, if you had T. Higgins under contract, would you dangle Pickens out there for a second or third round pick to get rid of the issue?
Then you're right back at this that we need a number two. Then you're right back.
But you might find a number two. Maybe you can trade for a number two.
There's a whole lot of them this year, Chops.
Okay. Well, real quick.
I would draft one. I would draft one to make sure, but I'm going to hold on to him until I am sure. I'm not gonna just.
Okay, this kid's a head case, so Waddy. He's a head case.
He is.
Is he going to give you? Is he going to give you what he has, or is he going to just go half-ass, hoping that somebody gives him a chance? He signs a 1-year deal, proves himself, and gets a bucket full of money. I don't trust the kid. I think he has an IEP in football as well as he probably had an IEP in school. I'll tell him straight up. I'll be straight up with him.
Because Barber said something, if Tomlin takes his thumbprint off the defense, takes it off the offense, right? And again, to help answer this question, again, go back personal with your children. If you ask if their mother said to them, I'm going to say this to dad, what do you think his reaction will be? Most of your children already know what dad's going to say because you've been with him so long, because you are who you are. Tomlin is who he is, fellas. He's not going to take his thumbprint off the offense or defense. He's not. Number one. And number two, real quick. Whether it's Mike Wallace, Limas Swede, Martavius Bryant, Claypool, AB. Now, I really think AB went knock. I think he lost the bag that held his marbles when your boy Burfict left that hit on him. I really do, right?
Yeah. But you got him back.
Seriously, and all these cats though with the wideouts, it tends to become the wideout position that's an issue. And I don't know why, but I just don't see anything changing. Rooney is who he is, right? And maybe only because I really follow the Steelers like this, I see him talking a lot, and maybe because it's in Pittsburgh, the press, they're talking about what Rooney says, AR2 says. The only other owners and I see speaking as much as him were Dan Snyder and Jerry Jones. I'm not saying this system at Steelers is toxic like Daniel Snyder. Nowhere near that. And he's not as deranged as Jerry Jones. However, fellas, when you're getting the owner talking this much, you don't see a successful organization on the field. That's the way you want. Everybody wants their system ran that way in the front offices. They're stable, no BS, no shenanigans. But on the field, you're not seeing it done the way the Steelers are doing it and winning. That's my issue. Something's got to give, fellas.
I don't know. At some point, I don't know what I did there. I'm sorry, y'all.
I like it.
It's at some point they've got to become current. And I think what happened here, this is just my premonition, is Old Man Rooney was never involved in the football operations as they transpired throughout the seasons, throughout the years. He didn't sit in on what was going on. Now he has no clue how things are run. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy doesn't even show up to every game. Like that. That's how I feel about him. Honestly, like I would not. If somebody told me he went to church and he had family dinner, he went there instead of a 1 o'clock game, I would not be shocked.
You know what, Barbara? Now that you mention that, as big as his name is, they show Jerry Jones in the owner's box. They don't show Rooney that much on Sundays in the owner's box, where a lot of times they'll take pictures. Real quick though, to Waddy Dream, all you guys, because we're all pretty much in agreement for whatever reason, you keep Fields. You keep Fields and you sign Fields. What's your next move? Is it to get a number 2 receiver?
No, it's to get a number 1 receiver.
Get a number 1. Or do you worry better about an offensive blocking scheme? Do you worry about pass routes in the play? What do you do if you get what do you do next? What you've got Fields. What's your next move?
That's for another show, Chops, but I will tell you this much. I will tell you that I have complete confidence in the 5 guys that are going to be across that offensive line if they're coached correctly. I think they have They have 2 number 1s, a number 2 at center. They have a kid playing right guard that is just fucking lights out in Mason McCormick, and they've got Ike Sayamalu or whatever his freaking Samoan name is, who is lights out in Philadelphia. You know, I think that offensive line should be dominant. You've got Big Darnell at one tight end. You've got, what's his name at the other tight end who just got paid and had a really good season. There's no reason this team should have any issues up front. Okay. I could see, and this is where Sheen is 100% correct about the speed of Najee getting through the hole. And that's what the problem is. And I've noticed this over and over and over watching the NFL playoffs. This is where I've seen it the most. I'm watching what's his name? James Cook explode through the hole.
Yeah,
he looks like he's shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mark,
you know what? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, the running back piece. And I don't know why we see that, he had an issue getting to the hole quicker. I don't know if you remember, but one year we had a running back that was very, very similar. And all we did was moved him up just a little bit, and he got to the hole when we needed him to get there.
But now you're running rush shotgun so much. Now you're running rush shotgun so much. Let me ask you this. But if you do sign Fields, you don't have to do that because he has the speed or whatever. Real quick, fellas, and Mark says the offense should look the offensive line. And we've said that so many seasons in the past. Since Munchak has left, we've not had a decent line.
That's because
Herberg and some decent guys.
You had 2 guys that were promoted from within, and neither of them could do the job. Then you go out and sign a guy who was in Carolina, who had the 30th ranked offense, especially in the run. You bring him in, you have him coordinate your run game. Come on, man. Pat Myers might be gold. He might be next to Jesus Christ in some other life, but he is a terrible offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Point blank.
So
Pat,
what
you suck.
What gives you hope? Because yes, maybe on paper these guys look good, but look at Doxson. He was terrible here for Pittsburgh. Now he goes to the Rams and he's getting played, getting shine, and he looks a whole lot better. So
he's not only looking better, he's getting paid, brother.
You know
who else is going to get paid, guys? I'm going to tell you who else is going to get paid.
Johnny Kemp.
Dan Moore Jr. He's going to get paid.
So again, so my thing, will it be with the Steelers or will he go elsewhere? So my point
with the Steelers.
So that's my point.
You know who's number? Chops, you know who's number 1 and number 2 giving up sacks this year?
I don't.
Dan Moore Jr. and the other tackle. What's his name? Jones. What the hell's the other tackle's name? Robert Jones. Like, that's number 1 and number 2 giving up sacks this year.
So why do you think he'll be paid?
That's on the offensive line coach.
Because he's going to go to his he's going to go to his regular position.
Okay, so Mark, so I ask again, if Tomlin has his thumb on the offense and defense, we're only talking offense, why do you expect it to be good? Because he's been playing so many guys out of position, or guys aren't doing well under him and like Dotson and move to another team, and now they start getting paid and shine.
You know why? Because they can't pay these guys to coach them. That's why they brought in freaking Pat Myers. He's making like $1 million to coach the offensive line. That's abysmal for an offensive line coach in the NFL. That's a disgusting amount.
If they can't pay him and they haven't been paying him, why do we expect things to? If they haven't hired coaches, they haven't paid coaches, why do we expect it to change? Mark, we all expect the sun to rise tomorrow because there has so many times in the past.
Listen, Chops, you expect the left guard to look at the left tackle and say, fuck what he said. This is what we're doing. At some point, it's got to happen. At some point, it's got to happen.
All right.
It has to.
Why do we believe that, though? If it hasn't, why do we think that?
Because they're so young. Remember, this is only Samalu's second year here. He had to play with Dan Moore Jr. Next year, he gets Jones to the other side, who will be in his third year. Perfect. Zach Frazier, who will be in his second year, played like an all-pro at center. Hey, he was one. People can bitch all they want about not taking Creed Humphrey or the dude from the Ravens, but this kid's kicking ass.
Yeah, and I need you guys to answer
this. He's a 10, 12-year guy right there.
When is the last time the Steelers had an O-lineman who was doing work that it was his 6th or 7th year? He is a true veteran on the Steelers, not a 2nd or 3rd year guy.
DaCosta.
Okay. You just saying DaCosta? Pouncey?
David DaCosta. What was his name? David DaCosta? Pouncey? Even Villanueva. Even Villanueva.
Now you're going back so far. I don't even remember who drafted
so far. This is the last offensive line group, basically.
Yeah.
Mark, and I don't know when they played, but what I know is in the last 6 or 7 years since he's had his Canada, since he's had Butler, whatever have you, nothing has looked good. So I don't know if Tomlin can't draft O-linemen. I don't know what it is. And he's definitely not, we're not seeing player development. That's what I'm getting at. I don't know when Villanueva and DaCosta, and you're going back 18 years. What's that?
More coaches. That's what helps. More coaches help player development.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
Waddy's got me worried. Because I never even thought about not enough coaches. Now I realize he didn't have not enough coaches. That gives me even less faith in Tomlin because you can't.
Hey, Dick Dilts even had 10 coaches, brother.
Yes.
God rest his soul. We had 10 high school coaches.
Yes.
We had 8 high school coaches.
Waddy got me thinking about stuff I was good.
Hey, half of them weren't like this either. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, I'm going to leave you guys with one final thought, and we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up. Go ahead, Sheen. Let me leave you with this thought, and then we'll come back to your question because you said you got one. Today, Edelman was on his podcast, and Edelman said flat out, I watch year in and year out the Steelers run the same defense that they ran when we played, and we shredded them. What is going on? How dumb basically he said, how dumb are they? It's the same thing since Edelman played with Brady years ago. Like, you got to scratch your head and wonder, what the hell is going on?
And he retired 4 years ago. Hey,
listen, I got 16 million reasons why nobody cares. 16 million. Go ahead, Sheen. Hit it.
All right, listen. I need y'all to put y'all Steeler caps on. Outside of Antonio Brown, since the year 2000, what 6 players have the most touchdowns?
6 round players?
Nope.
No, 6 players.
What 6 players have the most touchdowns outside of Antonio Brown since the year of 2000?
Mike Wallace.
He's number 5.
Okay. Le'Veon Bell.
That's what I said. Le'Veon.
Whoa, you didn't hear what, Chops?
No, I said I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even
Yes, Le'Veon Bell, number 4.
Okay.
Since 2000. Was Barry Barry Foster
Hines
post.
Ward?
No.
I can't remember when Barry Foster played.
Jay Waddy?
Hines Ward?
Yes, number 1. Hines, yes.
Okay. Who was in that backfield? Jerome Bettis.
Yes, damn, Bussy, number 2, yes.
Okay.
So 1, 2. We got 4 of them, Watson.
Yes, you need number 3 and number 6.
Oh, Heath Miller.
He comes in at number 3,
okay.
yes.
Yep.
And number 6.
Najee Harris.
No, but he plays that position.
Oh, Fast Willie Parker.
Nope.
He plays Najee's position. It's not Bus.
What?
Shit, who is it, Waddy? Who was the running back that had any balls that played for them? Before it had to be before Le'Veon.
Yep.
Is before Le'Veon. Damn, I don't even
Drawing
remember.
blank.
Was Isaac Redman?
Nope. I got 15 seconds.
Shit.
Who was it?
Come on, guys.
I know I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Pride of Illinois.
no
Sharp.
way.
Oh, Mendenhall.
No.
Yes.
Mendenhall.
Number 6.
No.
Yes.
No.
Smoke them if you got them, baby.
Who were the 2 receivers? The crazy part is the 2 receivers, Heath Miller. Well, 2 of the 3, Heath Miller, and what his name is. Who those guys did Tomlin draft? He drafted AB. He drafted Le'Veon, who also got to play with Ben, who was Cowher.
Tree Bees.
I think
The
that's
killer
it.
beat man.
Tree
Jeez.
Bees.
I don't know, fellas. I'm looking. I just don't. I love my Steelers, and I'll be there watching every Sunday like I always am. You are
Next
who
year
you
I
are.
might have to eat gummies to watch them though.
You are who you are, and we don't see things changing, fellas. We haven't seen great draft choices. We haven't seen great trades.
We're going to
We'll
keep the
see.
faith, Chops. We're going to keep the faith.
Oh, without question, keep hope alive. But
Hey, fellas, awesome show. I
without
got
question,
I tip my hat to you, but I ain't wearing a hat. I got my little Scully on with the OSP going on right here. Hey, everybody that's out there, don't forget to check us out on Tuesday night for our next show next Saturday. We are live at Frederick Social. If you're live to Frederick, Maryland, we are live at Frederick Social. We will be giving out 2 sets of tickets for the Hyper Beer Festival at the Frederick Fairgrounds on February 15th. Compliments of Matt at Rockwell Brewery. So come and join us there. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk, have some drinks. We're just going to chat it up about the Super Bowl, basically, and do our preview. Too bad Chops is in the ATL. We'd love to have him up.
I know that would be nice.
I tell you to catch a flight, but I don't know if you want to fly right now.
I'm definitely afraid to fly.
Yeah, I bet.
Jesus would have to be a pilot.
Hey, thanks for joining us right now. She, give him a little Steelers polka to hit us out.
Oh, man, you caught me off guard.
Now,
man.
let me ask you this. Are you and Waddy, are you guys going to be freshly shaven for the occasion?
I'll probably have a lid on.
I'll look just like this.
Waddy's been freshly shaven for as long as I've known.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy. You know, we used to call back in the day, got to get my Easter cut. Fresh, whether you wear it bald, whether you wear the good, however you wear it, you got to be nice and tight, lined up.
Hey,
yeah,
3
buddy.
questions. We went 50 minutes. We're just waiting for Sheen now.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And it was his idea to play the music.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The speaker went out on me, guys. Just give me one more second.
I'm gonna call him DJ. I'm call him DJ Unprepared.
It ain't
Yeah,
late.
Pendleton.
Wait, all right,
Pendleton
all right.
Ford just talked about the
We ain't
three-
getting it. Should I just end this joint?
Yeah, he's ridiculous, man. People are leaving the club. People are leaving the club.
Hell yeah. I feel like it's the 70s all over again, fellas. See y'all in 2 weeks or Tuesday night. Peace.
Yeah.